Welcome to The Explainer, where we take complex topics and, well, make them make sense.
So let's just dive right in. Is your job just a transaction, or is there something deeper happening? Today, we're going to use a very modern puzzle, that huge corporate push for return to office, to explore a classic theory that's about 150 years old, one that suggests there's a hidden logic driving not just RTO, but our entire working lives.
And it all starts with what we can call the RTO productivity paradox. It's a mystery that a lot of us are actually experiencing firsthand right now.
I mean, why are so many companies mandating a return to the office? If you ask them, the official reason is almost always the same. It's about boosting productivity, it's about collaboration, improving the company's performance. And, that sounds logical enough.
But here's the paradox. The evidence, it doesn't really back that up. We've got major studies from places like Stanford and the University of Pittsburgh that found no significant gains in productivity or financial performance after these RTO mandates were put in place. The data just isn't there.
And it's not just academics who are skeptical. What's really wild is that a whopping 85% of leaders themselves admit they don't actually believe that being in the office is inherently more productive. So, if it's not about productivity, what is it really about? For one compelling possible answer, we need to travel back in time.
And that journey takes us to the 19th century philosopher Karl Marx. In his massive work, Capital, he described the whole world of commerce in a really specific and, well, pretty revealing way.
So on the surface, the marketplace, where you sell your ability to work for a wage, it seems like a perfectly fair deal. An Eden, as Marx called it. You and your employer, you're just two free individuals meeting as equals to make an exchange. Simple enough, right?
Well, not quite. Marx says that to see the real story, you have to follow the worker and the boss out of that marketplace and into what he called the hidden abode of production. Today, you can think of that as the office. And this is where the deal gets real.
Okay, so let's step inside this hidden abode. Because according to this theory, this is where we find the real engine that drives the whole system.
The first thing you have to understand is that an employer isn't just buying your time. They're buying something very unique called labor power. That's your capacity to work. And it has this special, almost magical ability. It can create more economic value than what it costs to hire you.
And here's how that breaks down over a working day. Marx splits it in two. First, there's necessary labor. These are the hours you work to produce the value of your own wages. But everything after that, that's surplus labor. That's the time you're basically working for free, creating pure profit for the employer.
And this becomes the system's prime directive. The whole thing is driven, as Marx so vividly put it, by a werewolf's hunger to maximize that surplus labor time. The more surplus labor they can get, the more profit there is to be made.
To see how this hunger for surplus really drives everything, we need to quickly break down how Marx saw capital itself. He saw it as two totally distinct types. First, you've got constant capital. Just think of this as all the non-human stuff. Office buildings, computers, machines, raw materials. Marx called this dead labor because it can't create new value on its own. It can only transfer its existing value to the final product.
And then, in total contrast, you have variable capital. This is simply the money spent on wages, on buying that labor power. Marx calls this living labor because, unlike the dead machines, it is the only thing that can create entirely new value.
So here's the absolutely crucial distinction in this whole framework. A building or a computer, constant dead labor. It can't create new profit. It just passes along its own cost. It's only the living labor, the people, that can generate that surplus value that the entire system is built to chase.
Okay, so now that we have this framework, let's bring it all the way back to our original mystery, the return to office mandate.
When you look at it through this lens, the logic behind RTOs suddenly shifts. It stops being about worker productivity, and it starts to look a lot more like a way to reassert control to extract more surplus value. And it does this in three key ways.
First, it's about all that constant capital, those massive, expensive office buildings. An RTO mandate forces the living labor, the people, to go in and valorize that investment, to basically make the dead labor of the building seem useful. The priority becomes feeding the building, not necessarily empowering the person inside it.
Second, it's about control. RTO can replace the quality of your actual work with the quantity of your simple presence. It swaps the complex stuff you do for a very simple, measurable metric: face time. Your labor gets abstracted into just units of time under a manager's watchful eye.
And finally, it's about time itself. The commute is no longer just your travel time. From this point of view, it becomes an unpaid extension of the working day. It's like a hidden tax, designed to squeeze just a little more time, a little more surplus, out of you for free.
So, what's the big takeaway from all of this?
Well, whether you agree with it or not, this framework offers a really powerful, if, controversial lens. It suggests that our economic world is in this constant state of change, with powerful forces operating just beneath the surface. It's a way to look past the official reasons for things and see a completely different, hidden logic at play.
And that leaves us with one final thought. Once you start looking for this hidden logic, this constant push and pull over value and time, what other parts of your world suddenly start to look completely different?